When you hear the word darkness, what does it mean to you personally? Not poetically, but honestly.
Yeah, great question. I think of the seasons in my life where I felt lost. And I think I can't help but tie it to a spiritual connection because I grew up in the church and I grew up aware of the heavenly battle between the spiritual forces that are around us constantly. And navigating through all that as a person of faith is sometimes challenging. Other times I can nip it in the butt just with some scripture and some prayer. But life's going to throw you all kind of cards, and some of those situations, those seasons feel a lot darker, and they hang around a lot longer. And so I think of the times when I lost my brother as a kid and how dark it was to get through that spot. I think about when I walked away from a record deal and how lost I felt musically and creatively. I think about the fears in my head as a parent and how I'm always afraid of some terrible tragedy because of what I went through as a kid and navigating that darkness. And they're all three different shades, but they're all kind of the commonality is the spiritual tie where I can approach them with this sense of understanding that you're not going to outrun darkness, but you can shed light on it. And that's what this song was intended to be. It's not like, I'm not trying to put a bow on the situation for the listener and be like, you're in a dark place, but there's no but in this song. There's no silver lining that gives people a way out of the darkness. It's just an acknowledgement. And for me, I just know in my life when I was a kid and I lost my brother, the people who made the biggest impact weren't the ones that had advice for me. It was the ones I knew I could call in the middle of the night if I needed them. And I try to carry that over into my friendships and my relationships today because I know how powerful that was for me. And I've also been given advice at the wrong time, and it means nothing. It's almost more damaging than it is helpful. So that's a long answer, but that's kind of like the headspace for this song and how it was born, I think.
Mm-hmm. I love that. One of the things that you said was not having to put a bow on the song.
Yeah.
What does that mean to you?
I mean, it would kind of leave, it sounds hopeless at face value, to just say I'm in a dark place and it never resolves as but I'm going to get better. It never lyrically gets better. It's just a snapshot of the present. And that for me is important because when I was a kid, I didn't need advice when I was lost. As an adult, when I've been lost, I haven't needed advice as much as I've needed just companionship or availability. And so this song is supposed to be like a stand-in for someone who needs someone to be available, even if it's just a song they can put on. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. I want you to talk about that time where you sat down with Mike Dungan about your record deal, because for people that didn't hear the other episode, this is a great story, and it comes off of a time of your life where you had a peak. And I would love you to just walk me through that moment, that feeling, that experience.
Yeah.
As best as you possibly can.
Yeah, cool. I had a major record deal with Mercury Records. We had a #1 song on the radio. At face value, everything was going right for me. But behind the curtain, I was miserable. And it was my own fault. It was nobody else's fault. I was miserable because right after the biggest success of my career, I felt tons and tons of pressure to repeat it again and again and again. And because of that, I was looking to my left and right instead of just keeping my head down and trusting the team behind me and that it was going to, if I just did the work, it would pan out again. I was mad about the time it was taking for the second one, the follow-up, to happen. And I was comparing how fast this person's was going and mine was at a standstill, and whose fault is this, and it couldn't have been the song, or the music. And so all these dangerous thoughts were ultimately turning me into a pretty bitter person, and right on the heels of success. And so that's shameful, but it's honest. I'm not proud that I felt that way, and that's how I was approaching my career at that time. But I am thankful that it came to a head because it gave me I walked into Mike's office.
Is Mike's office like at the top of the building?
Yeah, at the time it was downtown.
Office?
Yeah. Corner
elevator
office downtown. This is their old building. I haven't even been in the new
okay,
new
but at this time, were you?
Yeah. So like top, up on the whatever.
So you're
floor.
headed up to the top to tell the
head of the most powerful labels in town that I feel lost and I want to leave the label. Can I get out of my record deal?
Were you scared?
I was scared, but I wasn't. I don't know if I was scared as much as just like I was aware of like the major decision I was making, but it didn't scare me as much as it almost felt like just a necessary step. I was so lost, dude. I had a bunch of people telling me their advice on my song, like what songs I should do and how I should dress and present myself, and don't wear a hat, wear a hat, don't wear those shoes, wear these boots. And ultimately I wanted to win, so I was willing to play ball. But at some point it's like, man, like who am I? Like, what am I bringing to this equation that will stand the test of time and not just be a like pandering approach to success. And I just didn't have that figured out at that time. And so it ultimately made me feel really lost in translation and unfortunately is taking a big impact on my creativity, making a big impact on my creativity. I wasn't writing my best material. I wasn't even happy being on the road. I would play shows and just phone it in essentially. And so I went in and I told him all that. I sat down with Mike and I said, I feel lost. I don't even know what I want to say anymore. And I need your permission to leave this deal so I can go find myself again, or even to find out if I even want to do this again. And he was super gracious and allowed me to go. And ultimately I found my way. I found my way through that, and it took a minute, but I found my feet again and my creativity again. But it took going through some darkness for me to find that. And I'm so grateful that Mike was the kind of guy that appreciated where I was and facilitated me going to get better. Because not everybody would be like, yeah, cool, man, go ahead. We just spent $1 million on you, and but you don't owe us anything. You go ahead and go find yourself. That's not very typical. You know what I'm saying? So he's a really stand-up dude, and I appreciate that.
That's awesome. That's awesome that you had that opportunity. And maybe awesome's not the right word, but the most formative times in our lives would come through what I would say the darkest times in our lives.
Totally. That's true for me. And I think musically too. Like, if you think about some of the great art over the years and in history, it's always there's always a boiling point to some degree in the life of the creator, where something comes to a head, or they're going through some season that's just like a bit of turmoil. And that's where the best art's born.
And it's where wisdom comes from.
And wisdom through experience. Yeah.
Yeah. Do you feel like our culture is more open about mental health or just louder about it?
That's such a good question. I think it's a little bit of both. I think we're a different society than our grandparents' society was. Like, we're definitely less. I mean, we'll show our cards a lot quicker. And I think that we're making strides in that area because I think it is productive to be vulnerable. I think there's strength in vulnerability. But I also don't, it's like different strokes for different folks. It doesn't always work for everybody. It doesn't mean like that's the way forward for everyone. And vulnerability also does not need to be confused with getting on your social media and telling the whole world about how you're doing either. Like, to me, the most impactful way to be vulnerable, or the way that's made me grow in a season of trouble, is vulnerability with someone who, like a singular person who I feel like I can go to and say how I'm really doing. where you can show your cards and expose like whatever the darkness is. That's super effective. That has been for me. So I do think society's embracing that more than ever, but it's also coming across as loud because we're such a social society now. We air out our dirty laundry all over the screens all day long, almost to like almost in an entertainment. Like there's an entertainment value now too to some of the vulnerability, which is interesting. It's kind of like you can't help but it go that direction. I don't know if that's a good thing or not, though.
Yeah, one of the words that you used earlier was strength, and I'm curious. Has your definition of strength changed as you've gotten older?
Yeah. The Bible says, when I am weak, I am strong, and I believe that to be true in my experience too so far. Like when I feel the most lost, when I feel insufficient or incapable, it allows God to be God in those moments. The things I can't do, it allows him the space to do what he can. So that's where the strength for me comes from. But there's been times in my life I just wanted to He-Man it myself, and plow through or make ends meet because I can do it if I work hard enough. And there's a lot of truth in that too. But I think that the lifelong impact that's been made for me in seasons of darkness is kind of like accepting that I can't do it on my own, right? There has to be some intervention for me to get from A to B. Because I've felt extremely lost before I felt found.
Yeah.
And I couldn't have gotten from this place to the other without that intervention.
And I gotta say, before we continue in the podcast, I was honored to get the song. It's not mixed yet, which is always a musician loves to point out when their song's not mixed yet. Caveat, not mixed yet. But I listened to it last night, and then I listened to it this morning, and then my wife was here and son, and they got to hear it this morning as well before we recorded. And the song to me is just, frankly, it feels like a hit song to me.
Awesome.
And
thanks, dude.
The thing I like is that it's a song without the bow, clothed in melody and clothed in production that doesn't feel like depravity.
Cool.
Like I'm bopping my head.
Yeah. It still makes you want to jam.
And the melody is so catchy. It's almost a pop melody to me a little bit.
Yeah.
And because it's so singable.
Yeah.
You can hear it.
Yep.
And on chorus 2, after chorus, and this to me is what a good song can do, is like put you there and visualize yourself there. And we were talking also like Dark Space being the title.
Dark Place,
yeah. Or Dark Place, I'm sorry.
You're good.
It's my dyslexia. Space Place. It's one of those things where it could be a season or it could be a day.
Yeah, totally, man. Everyone's version of Dark Place. The listener's gonna hear this and they're gonna be where they're at when they hear it, and they'll either relate or they won't, based on the day they're having or the season they're in. But most people will have been in a dark place at one point in time, and I think the whole goal for this song, I know for me, was to just be like, to try to be as a song the way that I intend and aspire to be as a human, and to the friends who are going through tough times, available, acknowledging that someone's in a spot and being available if they need you, instead of giving advice for how to get through the tough time. It's just being available for them as they need you. Which is weird to think of a song can be that, but a song has been that in my life before. Like many songs have been that for me. So that was kind of like the headspace for me when we wrote this song. And I know Jake Rose was going through a really tough time in his life when we wrote this song, and his version of his Dark Place was entirely different. and Carson's too, you know, Carson Wallace, the other writer we wrote it with. So the listener's going to have their own, they're going to fill in the blanks, and it's going to hit them where they're at, hopefully. But the goal being that we didn't try to give advice in the song. We just left it feeling sort of hopeless lyrically, or at least just all on the table, you know. And if part of what you're feeling is hopeless, then we left it there on the table. We didn't try to fix that for you.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. It's interesting. There's a song, I think it's called I Guess I Just Feel Like. I don't really remember the title, but it's a John Mayer song. But the very last thing he says in the song is, I guess I just feel like giving up today. And this song reminds me of that.
Cool.
But when you put yourself in the song, you're like, oh man, I feel that way. And it's refreshing to know that someone else feels that way too.
Yeah, it is.
Because I've had, for me, like, I've had a lot of, we were talking about wisdom coming from hard times. I feel like I've had a lot of hard times and with losing my parents. But the thing about it is that I feel wiser and stronger on the flip side of that darkness. And I'm still like in darkness, I feel like. And I think everyone's struggling with a darkness, and it could be the spiritual side of darkness. It could be a situational type of darkness, but it's such a human element, and it's such a human experience that connects us, is not just being happy all the time.
Yeah.
But the ability to be not happy.
Yeah, 100%.
Do you tend to internalize, distract, or isolate when you're struggling?
I'm usually pretty like show my cards. I enjoy vulnerability personally in my like personal life and my friendships. That's how I connect with people, is by being vulnerable and just real. So I don't try to hide my shit from people. But this particular song, my wife, she loves this song, but she also is kind of like afraid that people are going to read it wrong and think that I'm in a really bad spot, because lyrically it's such a dark lyric. And I'm like, babe, you know, I understand your concern, but also I don't care what people think, because for me, I'm just given a set of colors to paint with, and that's what I'm doing. It doesn't have to be an X-ray. I'm not holding this song up to my body and showing people exactly what's going on at any given point in time. Some songs will do that. But that wasn't the intention behind this. It was more just like, how do I just say what I've felt before, which a lot of people are also feeling, and that be enough. And don't put hope to it. Just say, just talk about a moment and what it feels like, and don't try to interpret it for people. Just say it, and sometimes that's more powerful than trying to interpret it or fix it. And I hope that's what it does. You know, that would be the win for me, is that people would hopefully just be able to use this song as what I try to be in my friendships, like available if they need me.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
I love that. Yeah. I'm feeling a little feisty today, and
let's go.
I'm juxtaposing your song to The Machine. And when I say The Machine, what I mean is, let's say, like a big Nashville label.
Okay.
You mentioned, wear this, don't wear that, don't wear these jeans, wear these boots.
Yeah.
And there's so many opinions, and we live in a world of opinions.
Yeah.
Doesn't matter if you're in music or you're in something else. Everybody has an opinion, and especially with social media. And everybody's filtering their decisions through what other people are going to say or think about them, because we all want to be liked and accepted. But my feisty self is feeling like, if this song was on the table in a meeting at a label, and you had everybody in there and you're talking about it going to radio as a single, which I say to myself after hearing this song, this feels like a hit song.
Thanks, bro.
I know that they would say, oh, doesn't have a silver lining, doesn't resolve, this song's too dark.
Yeah, the music's too dark. The lyric would have to counterbalance it somehow, right? But it doesn't. And so you're right. I think you're right. I think it would be a very I think there'd be a lot of hesitancy on their part to want to put any money or gas on a song like this. But the flip side of that coin is I think in the real world, the consumer, I think that they will really appreciate it.
That's what I'm thinking too, man.
And I'm hoping that's the case.
That's why it's going to resonate. It's going to, man. I'm not hoping.
I agree 100%.
I'm knowing it's going to resonate.
And I don't even want it from me. I don't want it. It's not like I don't need this song to resonate, to validate me as a creative.
Yeah.
I don't.
You had a hit with Tyler Hubbard this last year.
Yeah, we did. I wrote Park, #1 song. So I've had success. I feel tons of gratitude to be at this place now more than ever, where it's like, it doesn't matter if it quote unquote works. Like, what's going to work now for me is that it connects.
It's the humanity, man.
Yeah, I think so, dude. And just honestly, something I wanted to do. It's just something I wanted to do. I love this song. It comes down to that. It comes down to that. Like, are people going to think maybe I'm in a dark place? Are they going to associate me with, like, man, you must not be doing good? Maybe. I don't care, though. I really don't care at all. So my goal is that it just resonates with people who need to hear it, and that's it.
Yeah, and for me, when I listen to it, man, I put myself in the song. A good song to me, you put yourself in it, and you don't think about the listener or the singer. Sorry,
no,
you don't listen thinking about, oh, the singer's feeling this. You're listening and you're visualizing these elements that are being talked about in the song
for you,
and you're seeing yourself with your phone in your bed.
Mm-hmm.
I'm not seeing Canaan Smith, you know what I'm saying?
Good.
And so, I don't think that that's something that you really got to trip about. I think as the writer you do, but as the audience, you don't ever think that way.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah, for sure.
That's just my opinion.
I agree.
But I'm so glad that there's a freedom in what you're able to do independently outside of a label.
Yeah.
And I've talked to a lot of people that have said, you don't need a label now more than ever. Like, a label can do less for you now than they ever could because they're really providing funds. But you look at New Medicine, Jake Rose, the singer of New Medicine, who you did this collaboration with. You guys did the song together, and they are having massive success on an independent level.
Yeah, it's so cool to see.
I mean, you're writing hits on an independent level and also doing your artistry. And what would you say to people that are going after something and they think that the record deal is the win? What would you say, is being independent better than being signed to a label where you are being controlled and told what to do and what not to do?
I mean, to each his own. Like, for me, it's better because I thrive more when I have the liberty creatively, and I don't have to get approval for what I'm cooking. You know, like, I would rather just go cook and be proud of it. And so for me, it's definitely a better fit at this stage. But there's a ton of labels too that will give you that freedom. But I just know that me, inside the confines of knowing that the money's being spent on this, there's going to be an expectation. If they're ponying up money, then there's an expectation they're going to recoup and make money on that investment. And that's pressure, right? So, like, you know, whatever leeway you're given, it's still going to be measured, right? In that scenario. My measurements now are just like, it's not that. And so it's allowing me to cook with a passion more than ever and be more creative in the process more than ever.
Yeah. I'm curious if the people that we look back on that are icons, if they felt pressure or if they,
I don't know. I mean,
you know, like the Tom Petty's,
Kurt Cobain. I don't know. I got to think that there's a bit of, all the greats had, we were talking about this earlier, all the greats had a bit of counterculture to them, you know, the middle fingers up.
Bob Dylan played at the March on Washington at the Martin Luther King Jr. speech.
Wow.
Peter, Paul, and Mary. Dang. I mean, they were like part of a revolution.
Yeah, that's crazy. That's so cool. For me though, like, again, to each his own. And I would love to have a big bag of money behind what I'm doing and a commitment from a label to run it up the charts. And I would say yes to that if it was the right scenario again. But I would have to do it in a way that I know for sure is not going to cripple the creativity. And it wasn't even intentional on anyone's part. Everyone has good intentions. Like everyone was on my side. I had an amazing team. It was just hard to navigate through knowing that people need to make this work. And at the end of the day, if it doesn't, you're going to be on the chopping block. That's a lot of pressure. And in those confines, I don't thrive as a creative. So it's better for me right now, even if it's not nearly as successful on that monetary level as it was then. It's more rewarding to just be proud of what I'm doing.
How does social media distort our relationship with our inner world?
Oh, dude, we need a whole podcast on that. Social media is such a tough one for me. I wish to God I had. I wish somehow people could know about my music coming out and it would be promoted somehow without me having to have social media at all. Because I just, I'm addicted to it, just like probably most of your listeners and maybe you. We're all addicted to it. I find myself going to my phone and looking at other people's lives more than my own, So it's like it's a dangerous thing to do. And I understand I gotta be available to some degree, or at least on people's screens to have a shot at them hearing this song to some degree, right? But it's pretty destructive for me personally. It has not been as useful as it has been destructive. That's my fault. It's just who I am. Like I'm such a competitor. But now, more than ever now, I am more grateful than covetous. But I still do. I'll see something and I'll be like, damn it, wish I had that. So I can't help myself, but I have made strides in that realm, just being more content with what I have. And I've got the most blessed life, dude. I have everything I could ever want, and my kids are healthy and my wife's healthy. And we have food on the table and we get to travel, and I'm getting to play music live, and I'm getting to record songs, and I'm getting I'm getting cuts, as a writer. Like, pretty freaking selfish to want any more, and so I'm always fighting that. I'm trying to balance the gratitude with the dreamer, and I there's nothing wrong with, I want to be a hustler the rest of my life, and I want to play songs till I'm dead. Shows till I'm dead too. But if it all went away tomorrow, I've already done it. I've already got it. It's all here. It's all here right in front of me right now. There's nothing I can see on my screen right now that someone else is showing about their life that would make mine any better. And there's no amount of money that would make my life better either. Because
I talked about this on the last podcast, but I'll talk about it again. The delayed happiness hypothesis. It's the idea of I'll be happy when.
Yeah, right. Yeah.
I'll be happy when.
No, you won't.
For you, I'll be happy when I get a record deal.
Mm-hmm.
I'll be happy when I have a hit or an X amount of hits.
Mm-hmm.
Or when then my song goes this, and then you get there. And meanwhile, what's happening? Your life is being lived, but your joy is being drained.
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
and you're in a dark place because you're not measuring up to
your unrealistic expectations for happiness or success. Correct. Yeah,
exactly, man.
Yeah.
And that does nothing but put you in a dark place. Do you think men are getting better at talking about these things, depression, anxiety, being in places that are hard and tough and rough and dark, or are we just getting better at labeling them?
I think, man. Well, the times are changing. I mean, I think that it's more accepted than ever, more acceptable to be vulnerable and whatnot, and that's a good thing. But I also, you know, there's also like, strength in like silence too, and everybody's method for getting through a tough spot is different. It has to be individual for it to work. I think that at the root of it all, like to really get through anything, there has to be an honest assessment of your reality. So it has to be, whether you're sharing it with the world or just a friend, there has to be a bit of honesty in your assessment of like how you're doing. And that's what this song is. Like, it was intended to be just an honest assessment. I'm in a dark place. It's all like, I don't know what to tell you.
Yeah.
And, so I think that that is definitely, that's that's the starting point for getting through it.
Yeah. Statistic, males account for about 80% of all suicide deaths in the U.S.
Damn.
Despite making up roughly half of the population. The male suicide rate has been consistently higher than the female rate in the United States for decades, with ratios typically around 3 to 4 times greater. Globally, men also tend to have higher suicide death rates than women, though the magnitude varies across countries and regions. But in America, it's pretty crazy right now. And I think a lot of people are in a lot of dark places. And it's one of those things where when I hear a statistic like that, it's quite shocking.
It is.
And it is eye-opening at the same time.
Yeah.
Because as men, I feel like we're meant to be, masculine and strong. Like, there's these ideas of what a man is supposed to be, and maybe it came from Hollywood, I don't know. And we have our, like our dads and our grandpas and our great-grandpas who fought in World War II, World War I, Vietnam, and they were all very, like, keep to themselves, like, don't show emotion. And now we're in this culture where we have men, that are talking about these things. But if you look at the stats, it doesn't reflect that the talking about it is working. It's just interesting because it's like we're labeling it.
Right.
That's my own hypothesis on that question. But I think it's something that we, as listeners should be aware of, because you never really know the struggle, that dark place that someone could be in,
Yeah.
A lot of times they're hidden.
Yeah.
And I'm hoping that this song connects in a way that makes that person not feel alone.
Yeah, me too. Yes, absolutely.
Because I think it has the ability to do that. What did you learn about emotions growing up?
Oh, wow. I witnessed and experienced emotion on a lot of levels, and like, I saw retaliation to circumstances, and I also saw like and experienced just embracing the circumstance, and being okay with the judgment that comes with it. We grew up in a church that was really judgmental. And it was weird because if they'd ask, how you doing? And if you said, doing good, it's almost like they didn't, yeah, are you? Like trying to get to the bottom, like more like, is it okay? Is it not okay to be doing okay? Do I always have to have something wrong? That was interesting. But I also, I appreciate the question, but like sometimes, yeah, I'm cool, man. There's no catastrophe happening right now, thank God, and that's okay. Seasons of life. But other times, I felt like when I was going through something or in a dark place or whatever, it was maybe like I got some advice. It was supposed to be like a quick fix, a spiritual little nugget that you see on a poster on a wall. some Bible verse that'll make you feel better in the moment. And poorly timed advice is more detrimental than it is helpful. You know what I mean?
I remember, especially after losing my dad, like, and if you're listening or watching and you've had that experience before where you've lost someone close to you or you lost your brother, the last thing that you want to hear is a piece of advice.
Yeah, totally.
The last thing that you want to hear is, I lost my grandma like a year ago, and like people, they want to connect or help, and I get it, but to me, I'm like, shut up.
Yeah, totally.
Don't give me advice. Just shut up. Dude, leave me alone. I'm grieving.
Mm-hmm.
I'm hurting, and I need to be in that, and that's okay.
Yeah.
To grieve.
Totally.
Like that is, like, give yourself permission to be in a dark place as well.
Yeah. Don't try to fix me.
Yeah, because this song is not the it's okay to not be okay song.
Yeah.
I think there's a clarification to be made there.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
What would you say it is?
No, I mean, I agree. It's like just supposed to be how does it feel in those moments when you don't see the light at the end of the tunnel?
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah, and a song to me, I always equate them to paintings. And I know that you think about songs in terms of colors and palettes as well. And I think of seeing a painting of, let's say it was a dark painting,
mm-hmm.
or the expression of the painting gave you a feeling of sadness or grief,
mm-hmm.
or overshadowing of darkness.
Mm-hmm.
That is one painting.
Mm-hmm.
That isn't the whole story.
Right.
That isn't the, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
That artist in that moment was feeling this, and they painted it and put it down.
Right. Yeah. I mean, that's what art is just supposed to be.
Exactly.
It's not supposed to be like, hey, I hope everybody thinks doesn't read this the wrong way.
Correct.
If I approach it like that, it's going to be the opposite of creative.
And back to my I just get perturbed by labels thinking about what they would say about that song or that painting. If your song was a painting, don't hang that up. Mm-hmm. That's too sad. Mm-hmm. But it's like, no, man, this isn't the whole story. But let it be. It's okay to let it be that way.
Leave it there.
Yeah, man. And that's so beautiful that you're able to do that. And
thanks.
Yeah, man, it's really cool. But it doesn't feel dark. That's a crazy thing. Cool. Like it doesn't sound dark.
Good. Well, I mean, I wanted to.
It's so catchy.
I wanted to be an expression of
so good,
of
dude.
Who I am musically, and I think it does a really good job of that too. Thanks, brother.
Who is someone in your life besides your wife that sees you clearly when you're not okay?
I've got my kids. They're just as good at it as she is. Very in tune, very emotionally intelligent individuals. These youngsters, they're only 3 and 6, or about to be 4 and 6. Their sensory awareness, and it's like like dogs are the same way, right? Animals. I saw a video yesterday my uncle shared with me. This dude was singing a song on What the World Needs Now is Love, Sweet Love, and his pet cat jumped up on his lap and was like somehow in the moment with him. And my kids are that way. They kind of read the room really well. And then I've got just lifelong best friends too that I feel like I can share anything with. Fear of judgment not be a thing,
Do you feel like I've heard this statement or this quote, there are no friends in the music business? I
disagree.
Yeah, that's what I'm curious about.
Yeah. I mean, Tyler Hubbard's one of my best friends in the world, and we're in the music business together. He's had my back so many times in life and in music. And there's nothing that could come between us. You know what I mean? We've navigated so many scenarios together. And I've got other friends I could say the same thing about, but that's a perfect example there where that disproves that statement,
Is there a large percentage of people that you feel like you thought were your friend at one time but aren't?
I've been fortunate to not feel the burn of that, like a phony friendship. I haven't really, thank God, had to navigate that much. And I know some people have been burned, right? So in that regard, so it probably sucks, and I hope I never do have to experience that. But I try to, I don't know, man. There's intuition. Intuition comes into play, and sometimes you just have to rely on that to navigate your friendships, quote unquote. And some of them are going to be deeper than others, and some are just going to be surface levels or in passing. And then and I value the ones that have depth, and those are the ones that those are the people I call when I'm actually in a dark place.
Yeah.
So I am thankful for the friends that are the real deal.
Yeah.
But I don't know. I feel like I don't have a story for you on like the music business, the phony, talking out of two sides of your mouth kind of friend.
Yeah.
Which is great. I'm thankful for that.
Yeah.
But I'm sure I know it's out there.
I'm glad that's your experience.
Thanks, dude. Yeah.
What would you say to someone who feels like darkness is their permanent address?
Whoa, that's a great question. I'd say okay.
Okay.
All right. What am I supposed to say? They don't need me to say. Again, acknowledging. I think acknowledging is as powerful as advising, more powerful a lot of times.
Yeah.
If that would then lead to them saying, what do you think? I'd dive head first into that conversation, but
we're too prone to giving unsolicited advice.
It doesn't offend me that you feel like your permanent address is darkness. It doesn't, I'm not scared by that. Like young me, with my young faith in my very sheltered church, my very judgmental church growing up, would have been like, I would have came at you with scripture right away, right? But now I'm like, well, okay. Because at some point in time, that's either going to be broken and lifted or it's not. And and if God chooses to do that through our conversation, it'll steer that way. But to force it that way out of fear that I need, because I'm threatened by the darkness.
Yeah.
That's not a win.
I remember my parents had just gotten divorced over the summer of my freshman year. My mom told me the night before we were moving out that we were moving out the next day.
Oh, damn.
And I had already had like pretty gnarly anxiety, depression, like obsessive compulsive, like really dark thoughts at that point. And I remember my mom, bless her heart, but she was like writing, like she didn't know the breadth of my like issues I was dealing with in terms of darkness. So she would hit me with like lots of little notes that were scriptures, but all they did was kind of piss me off. You know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
And I remember feeling like there was no light. And I remember feeling like, I don't know if I'm going to make it to age 18. Like, I don't know how I'm going to do that.
That's tough.
And, yeah, dude. And even thinking about it, it's like, ugh, it was such a dark time. But the thing that is interesting is looking back on it, I guess, I was a kid, but the fact that I was able to go through that, I always wondered, and I take medicine for anxiety and depression now. I always wondered, like, why God? Because back then I didn't like have much of a relationship with God. Now I do. I got rebaptized in March of this last year of 25.
That's
awesome. Yeah, March of 25. And I've been reading the Bible most every day, and kind of like you're doing with, I think, your wife.
We're doing the read through the Bible in a year. For the first time, I've never done it. And it's already crazy. The stories are wild.
Looking back at that kid, and on the spiritual side and all that throwing that stuff at me, just like you said, didn't work.
Mm-hmm.
It just made it worse.
Mm-hmm.
Having someone for me to talk to and them saying, okay.
That would have been more effective, you think? For someone to just acknowledge, just to hear you?
Yeah.
And that be enough?
To hear me. And maybe ask me a question. Like, ask questions, don't give advice. And
Yeah,
I
there's
said
a
it,
difference for
I
sure.
said it earlier, but I heard it from a podcast one time, someone talking, and she was like, so many times people, they're living in a place where they don't want to change, and you think they want to change, therefore you're giving them advice. But she said, did they ever ask you for your advice? Like this lady, she wanted her husband to lose weight. So she was trying everything, and she went to this conference, and she asked the lady that was talking on this podcast, like, how do I get my husband to lose weight? And she asked the speaker of the, that was on this podcast, asked, did he ever ask you for your help losing weight? And she's like, no. She's like, then quit trying to make him lose weight.
It ain't gonna work.
It's not going to work. And so I think we're so prone, especially if you're an empath, to try to fix people's problems.
Yeah.
And I think that in the broad conversation, we don't have to fix people's problems. We have to, like you said, Canaan, be there.
That'd be the best way to fix anything, is to just be available when it's time. When it's time to actually repair.
Yeah.
The wisdom will come, and the steps that need to be taken can be taken.
Yeah.
I agree totally.
If someone is in the middle of it, not climbing out yet, what do they not need to rush?
I think if you hurry yourself through, you're cheating yourself. You're cheating yourself out of having gone through the whole gamut of the experience. Like if you're, it's almost like dishonest to come at it that way by just brushing it aside, or because what you're doing is you're just pushing it under the rug, probably at that point in time, instead of actually just having gone through it completely to the point where it's fully drained.
Yeah.
If you're just plugging it up, there's still going to be some residual that'll come back later in life at some point in some way. So I'd just say, like it's okay to just, like, for lack of better words, just kind of bleed out in your emotions, emotionally speaking.
How is it for you when things are heavy, things are dark, but you know that you have God with you?
That's the only hope I have for anything, for any moment, for any challenge, any hurdle. I would not be able to accomplish anything in this world, or get through any tough time, or reach any of my goals, find any fulfillment or purpose outside of an understanding that God is God, I am not, yet He loves me and is available. That is, He's done for me exactly what I've wanted this song to do, for people. He's been available. I've had friends in my life who've been available. Well, God's the only one who's done that perfectly and over again. And so, yeah, I mean, and everyone doesn't have that. Not everyone has even faith in God, let alone a relationship with God. But it has 100% been the only thing in my life that's given me purpose, or fulfillment, hope, all the things you need as an individual to survive. Like, there are fleeting moments of those things elsewhere, but longevity, you're not going to find. Well, I have not, and I believe you cannot find outside of God, outside of His revealing Himself to an individual. Because when that happens, you can't put words to it, but when it happens, it lifts the veil on. It kind of like clarifies the temporary for you, right? And down here is temporary, according to my faith.
Mm-hmm.
So no matter how dark the moment, no matter how impossible the hurdle or hopeless the scenario, or painful the moment, like I can always feel hope through faith. And I don't know where you would find that elsewhere. I don't know how you can truly find hope outside of that. I've never found it. I've never felt it. I don't know if it exists. I don't believe it does outside of the creator himself.
I feel like there's been, and I've seen it in a lot of podcasters and public figures, but there's been somewhat of, I don't know what you want to call it, but a lot more people are turning to faith, and a lot more people are curious about faith. And I feel like there's a lot more conversation about faith.
I see that too.
Yeah. What would you say to the person out there that's like wandering or like curious, but also doesn't know what to do or where to go because there's so many opinions and so many religions, and you know what I'm saying?
I don't know that I would really say anything. I would just be there if they have questions and try to live my life in a way that can speak louder than words. And I fail at that a lot. I've got friends in my life that aren't believers that I feel like I've done a poor job at times being an example for what that looks like, and I hope that hasn't had a negative effect on their pursuit and their journey in finding God. But also at the same time, that's a reminder to me that it's not me who's perfect in the first place. So like, don't measure God by what you see in me. I'm trying. I want to be a reflection of Him, but I would just be as available for that conversation as they're willing to go, because God does the work in the background. You know, it's him doing it in the first place. So like, His ability to orchestrate that conversation is not going to be because I forced it. You know, it'll be there if it's meant to be there, if He wants to reveal Himself at a moment in time to an individual.
Yeah.
And I'd love to be a part of that, but I'm going to leave that up to Him.
What does enough look like
Right now? I've got it right now. I've got a healthy wife and 2 kids. And we can eat and we can travel and we're loved. That's all we need, you know? And that's a cute way of saying it, because I can pay my bills. So it's not through the filter of like survival instincts, which is unfair, I know. But there may be a season in life where it comes to that. And I'm fully aware of that. I know how up and down life is. But right now, no, there's nothing you could add to my life that would make me any happier. You could take a lot away, to be honest with you. we have too much when it comes to things, you know? So
where do you want to see yourself at the end of this year, 2026? What would be the 2 things, if you look back on 2026, you would say that it was a success? What are the 2 things?
I'd like it to look like last year did, but me having grown as a human at the same time. So what I mean is, like, I want to go play shows. I want to write songs and have them on the radio. I want to record new music, and I'm doing all 3 of those things right now. But I want to grow as a dad, as a human who processes my reality on the daily. I want to be winning more than I'm losing, because my goal is to be more grateful, to be more patient and tolerable, to be less self-centered. Those are my goals for 2026. Because again, I have everything else. And the ones that I'm really after now is like the growth on a level that's not tangible.
Mm-hmm. That's beautiful, man.
I'm not passing the test a lot of times. Ask my wife.
We'll never pass the test. That's the thing.
But it is my goal. It's in my heart. I want that.
Yeah.
I do want that.
The thing for me is the fact that in Psalm 103, it says, like God's forgiven our sins as far as the east is from the west.
Come on.
And, and we don't like deserve grace. Mm-mm. And it's one of those things that we can't earn. It's just the gift. So in this life, we will have the pursuit of, being refined, but we will never be perfect. And the cool thing is that, like for me, one of my favorite scriptures talks about the metaphor. It's like a parable basically, but it's like the vine and the branches. And God is a vine dresser. He is the vine and we are the branch. And he trims off the things that will not produce fruit so we can produce fruit. And the trimming is painful. And the trimming is often a dark place.
Mm-hmm. Come on, dude. Now who's preaching? That's good. That's strong, man.
And the dark place gives way to light. So I'm excited for your song. It's going to be out January 27th.
Yeah. On all the platforms.
It'll be the platforms.
And it's we're both the artist on the song, so it'll be on their page too. Canaan Smith and New Medicine.
Yeah.
January 27th.
And for people that don't know how to spell Canaan, we spell...
Yes, Canaan. Even though my wife introduced me to her parents after we had been dating 3 weeks, she brought me home and introduced me as Canaan. And I and I heard it and I was like,
This is Canaan. She's probably all nervous.
We'll roll with it. Call me what you want.
Call me what you want.
I love you, buddy.
Everybody calls me Steven. So
I know they do.
Dude, love you too, man. Thank you for coming on.
Thanks for having me. I always enjoy it.
For real. We will be doing more together in the future. And everybody go download the new song and leave your feedback and share it.
Thanks, bro.
That's the best thing we can do for artists, to share it. It's easy, right. And it's our free gift.
That's
to the artists, the creators, the writers. If the song impacts you, put it on your Instagram story, share it, and let other people hear it.
Hey, and speaking of, congrats on your Vince Gill cut, bro.
Oh,
That's crazy. What a legend. What a great thing to have accomplished as a writer.
I appreciate that.
Proud of you. Excited for you.
Yeah, and he just got that Willie Nelson Award at the ACMs, which is only like 10 people have gotten in the history of music.
It's crazy.
And he's got, Country Music Hall of Fame, most Grammys for any male country artist of all time.
Are you serious?
Yeah. It's like 24. Anyway, and I'm there and I'm like, I got a Vince Gill cut. I'm at the Ryman backstage. This is my favorite place historically for country music. And like I'm hearing a song that I wrote that's going to be released by this legend. And it wasn't until I left that I realized that. And it was a beautiful moment.
I bet.
And I'm going to try to live in the gratefulness that you have encouraged me with.
You should be really proud. I'm happy for you.
Well, thank you, man. But I'm happy for you, stoked for you and your career. And I appreciate you always being so honest and open, man. You're one of the people that I do feel like if I needed something, I could holler at.
I hope you know that, and I mean that. I'm always here.
No, I do. Yeah. I do feel that genuinely.
Thanks, dude. Likewise, and I feel the same about you. I really do.
Yeah, dude.
Yeah, for real.
All right. Well, ladies and gentlemen, this is a wrap with Canaan Smith.
Peace.
Thanks for being here. Make sure to hit like, subscribe, share if you enjoyed this podcast, and leave a comment. And we'll see you for our next episode. Be kind to someone. Love them. Buy someone a coffee in the line behind you at the drive-thru. Peace.